Whoa, okay. So March wasn't bluffing. Danheng does have secret strength. But why would he suddenly reveal it after hiding it for so long?
Let's not forget he did get impaled. Yeah, I think if he'd kept it under wraps any longer, he might have had trouble staying alive. Desperate times, desperate measures.
Okay, it makes sense, but why the secrecy up till then?
Well, to answer that question, we gotta talk about Danheng's previous incarnation, Dan Feng, a member of the High Cloud Quintet.
That's right. I'm sure Trailblazers will have noticed that certain characters in the story have been referring to Danheng as Imbibitor Lunae. But Imbibitor Lunae is actually a title handed down as part of the Law Fu Vidyadhara High Elder succession. The person they're referring to here isn't Danheng, but Dan Feng. Dan Feng was once the Law Fu Vidyadhara High Elder. He achieved great deeds for the Xianzhou in wartime, but ultimately committed an unforgivable sin.
Wait, but if Danheng's still alive, then Dan Feng's sin can't have been that unforgivable, right?
I think someone pulled a few strings. There's only one guy in the Law Fu who'd risk the Xianzhou's reputation like that. Yuan.
Is that what a little bird told you, Albert? I never knew owls were so gossipy.
Oh, no. Jingyuan's not to blame this time. The head of the Xianzhou Vidyadhara, the High Elder, possesses the power to transform into a dragon. The method of entrusting this power to the next head is a closely guarded secret, and the responsibility of each High Elder. We don't know the full story, but Dan Feng misused this method and sparked a terrible calamity. As a result, the Vidyadhara grew to hate Dan Feng, but executing him would have brought an end to the High Elder succession. They decided to use an exuviation charm, forcing him to reincarnate. Which is why Danheng is alive and well today.
The world of the Vidyadhara is complicated.
But why would Dan Feng cause so much trouble? I suspect there are a few more secrets waiting for us down the line.
The allure of the unknown. But fear not, Trailblazers. A banquet of delicious secrets awaits you. Now, let's take a look at how secret strength Danheng handles himself on the battlefield.
As an imaginary type character following the path of destruction, Danheng Imbibitor Lunae's specialty is consuming multiple skill points to trigger an array of powerful abilities. Tapping the skill button enhances the effects of Imbibitor Lunae's basic attack, Beneficent Lotus, up to 3 times in succession. Depending on the number of enhancements, Beneficent Lotus becomes Transcendence, Divine Spear, and Fulgurant Leap, respectively. Hits per action and damage dealt increase with each enhancement. Additionally, single target damage is replaced with multiple target damage in both Divine Spear and Fulgurant Leap.
In Imbibitor Lunae's talent, Righteous Heart amplifies the damage he deals as the number of hits per action in the current turn increases.
Sounds like skill point management is going to be pretty important for Imbibitor Lunae's allies.
Hold that thought. When using his ultimate, Imbibitor Lunae deals imaginary damage to a single target and adjacent enemies, while also receiving a set amount of Squama Sacrosancta. Squama Sacrosancta can be used to offset Imbibitor Lunae's skill point consumption.
Man, Secret Strength Danheng is kind of a one-man band.
Oh, that's not all. Imbibitor Lunae's technique, Heaven Quelling Prismadraken, allows him to enter a leaping dragon state for a set time. In this state, using an attack causes Imbibitor Lunae to lunge forwards a set distance and strike all enemies he comes into contact with.
Cool.
Entering battle in this way allows Imbibitor Lunae to acquire a set amount of Squama Sacrosancta.
And lo, such is the frightful power of the High Elder. Now that we've introduced Secret Strength Danheng, let's move on to an old friend of ours, the Master Diviner, Lady Xuan. Her first encounter with the Trailblazers was pretty impressive.
From high above, amid a hail of bullets, came the words.
Your every move has been foreseen.
By the Omniscia.
Okay, you gotta admit, her bullet deflection game is on point. But I wonder, how'd she fare against a Star Knot, though?
Oh, yeah, I can't see her swatting one of those out of the sky.
Fu Xuan might have something to say about that.
Oh, okay.
Our hexagrammatic position is fluctuating between the earth and water trigrams. What do we have to fear? Let us counter this menace directly with the might of the Xianzhou.
Oh, Susheng translation. Hexagram says let's do this.
I think the Divination Commission would benefit from having Su Sheng as a translator.
Yes.
The Omniscia on Fu Xuan's forehead is a mysterious instrument that allows her to calculate her every move in advance. However, the immortal bodies of the Xianzhou natives exhibit adverse reactions to external augmentation. While the Omniscia may grant her incredible computational abilities, it also causes her pain and exhaustion.
Well, with great power, you know the rest.
That explains Fu Xuan's reliance on bubble tea, then, huh? I heard she drinks like 10 cups of Immortal's Delight a day.
Hey, that sounds like gossip to me. What if Immortal's Delight is just heckin' delicious?
I suspect it is, though I'm sure the sugar helps. Running the Divination Commission and divining the fortunes of the Xianzhou, it's an exhausting gig.
All right, Anjali's right. No more bubble tea gossip. By way of apology, how about I treat everyone to 10 cups of Immortal's Delight after the show?
Yes! Now we're talking.
Let's talk about bubble tea there. It's time to take a look at how the Master Diviner showcases her abilities on the battlefield. Fu Xuan is a quantum-type character, following the path of preservation. But where other path of preservation characters mainly use shields for defense, Fu Xuan takes a different road.
Precisely. After using her skill, Fu Xuan activates the Matrix of Prescience, which lasts for a set number of turns. This allows Fu Xuan to absorb some of that damage for her allies. When the Matrix of Prescience is active, it grants the knowledge effect to the entire team, increasing characters' max HP and crit rate. Fu Xuan's talent offers a variety of effects. Firstly, Fu Xuan can provide a permanent misfortune avoidance state, reducing the damage taken by the entire team. Secondly, when Fu Xuan's HP drops below a set percentage, she recovers a set percentage of HP.
POV, you're Fu Xuan's enemy. Why are my attacks healing her?
That's not all. Fu Xuan's ultimate deals quantum damage to all enemies, but it also increases the frequency of her talent's HP restoration effect. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, Fu Xuan's technique can grant a barrier for the whole team that lasts for a set duration. During exploration, the barrier blocks all enemy attacks, thereby preventing battles that would otherwise have triggered in this way. Her technique also activates the Matrix of Prescience automatically at the start of the next battle.
That's our Master Diviner. Reliable and determined. No wonder she's got her sights set on the generalship. See, her style is very different to Jing Yuan's, but being a defensive backbone for her team is equally respectable. And you won't find her gardening or playing chess on the job either.
I didn't say it.
We're moving swiftly on to our final character. It's time we introduced a young girl from Surname ring a bell? You got it. She's the younger sister of Serval and Japard Landau.
You know, is it just me, or should everyone in the overworld be taking tips from Lynx? She's the only person I've seen who's dressed for the eternal freeze. Like, are the majority of Balabagians frost-resistant or something?
I think those geomarrow heaters keep the temperature relatively comfortable within the confines of the city.
Oh, so Lynx's winter gear is for venturing outside the city, right?
You got it. Lynx has always been drawn to the horizon. The centuries-old records of Yarilo 6's vibrant past, the beautiful auroras described by her teachers, the heroic tales of the Landau family. All of it pertains to the world beyond the city walls, where the Belabogians call the snow plains. Compared with her sister's enthusiasm and her brother's seriousness, Lynx is somewhat introverted and comfortable with solitude. She often ventures out alone into the perilous snow plains, which has allowed her to hone her wilderness survival skills.
Ooh, she's gonna be the world's smallest survival expert.
Now, she may be small, but she packs a punch. Let's dive right in and see just how powerful this snow plains explorer really is.
Yeah, Lynx is a quantum-type character following the path of abundance who provides a variety of healing for her team. Her skill can restore HP to a single ally and grant them survival response for a set number of turns, boosting their max HP. If an ally with survival response follows the paths of destruction or preservation, the likelihood of them being targeted by enemy attacks increases.
Increased enemy aggression? Guess they're not fans of whatever's in that tin. Can't say that I blame them.
My, that looks like fermented herring. Ooh, it's my favorite. You guys want to try some?
No, I'm good.
No. Can you forget about the contents of the tin? This is a useful ability.
I'll say this. Directing enemy aggression towards characters who can take a hit is kinda genius.
Does she have any edible tricks up her sleeve?
This one looks safe for consumption. Lynx's ultimate restores health too and dispels one debuff from each ally.
That thing's huge!
I know. Yo, talk about a hard pill to swallow, huh? Anyone? Sarah? No? Anjali?
See, I'm just wondering how she even fits it in her backpack.
Sometimes big things come in small packages. You know, I forgot to mention Lynx's talent. It can grant a continuous healing effect to targets of her skill and ultimate for a set number of turns. This effect will further restore a set amount of HP to characters with survival response. Similarly, her technique can also grant a continuous healing effect for a set number of turns, but to the entire team. Talk about being a reliable healer.
That's our little snow plains explorer. We can all breathe a little easier with her on the team.